Okay, we are recording. Quick sound check again. Here's my voice, and it's fine levels. Billicus.
How are you? I am fine. I don't know if I'm sitting too far away from my busted-ass mic or...
Seyda.
I just want to give a shout out to our one fan and his amazing tweet. How the break was a bit much.
Oh, Matt, yeah. Oh, that was a great tweet. Yeah, I'll have to include this in the cold open. And also, we got a few fans who've contacted us who we all think are awesome. So here's a funny thing. I hate to admit it. So there's one of you out there with a commenter name which looks like Saint Oni or something I'm badly murdering, and you often comment on the website's blog post of the episode. You rule, and I have no idea who you are. I wonder if I'll find out it's like just a friend. But no, seriously, it's awesome.
It might be my mum.
And also Blake on Twitter too.
It's nice to know that at least one person that's not part of this podcast is listening.
Hello to Robyn's mom.
Let's start a Google.
Yeah, that's a G+, is that right?
Yeah, Google Plus page.
Is that like, I was going to say, is that the only thing that Google have totally
Guys,
crapped a bed on? But Google
We've got
Glasses,
snakes to fight.
We
If
have,
anybody wants to add me on MySpace, do so.
Yeah, me too. Okay, DM takes off his Google Glasses. Last time on Polymorph Self, new friend Garrick had a spectacular bath, supplemented by rat thyroids. He was glowing. Billicus created magical goodberries for Seyda to eat, and she ate them. All of this was vital to the mission, obviously. Hjani was more concerned with getting things done, so she bypassed all hints, clues, leads, and established locations and declared, "Let's go to a square." They went to Library Square and talked to students in the admittedly pleasant evening scene. They also went to a local inn and asked if anyone here knew anything about secret societies. Knife-like precision was the phrase used, I remember. Finally, they went to visit the catacombs, looking for the Temple of the Order of the Silver Ring, suspected in the kidnapping of cleric Cedric March. Then, they proceeded to break in and beat up 2 unarmed priests.
Oh, okay, cool.
How'd you know?
We spoke to the other guy.
It's nice that we're getting corroborating stories.
Norm, go.
It was really nice to meet you, Norman. Take these silvers, make something of your life.
Thank you. How much are you giving me again?
2 silver, 1
2
each.
silver, yeah.
2 silver pieces.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Consider
Bye.
it a donation to this church.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we're just gonna look behind the altar now.
He runs away.
Cool. So we merrily make our way down to the altar
Okay.
to look behind it.
Descending into the dark, gloomy temple with the altar at one end, you see a large, basically like slab of stone. It's kind of like a roughly rectangular surface, and it's like one huge block of stone resting against a bare brick back wall.
I know stone. And I know, being a dwarf and all, and being a cleric, I know what stone can turn into, and that is this thing. What is it? I look at it.
It's an altar. Would you like to check it for anything particular?
Check for traps.
Sure. What do you have? Some sort of it's spot, right?
Yeah.
Or search. Which is stronger, or you have?
No, I have that's a thing here.
Oh yeah, it's because
it's
of
a
your
spell.
earth domain.
Right.
You have a trap sense.
So I just can do it, right?
Yeah, that's a once a day spell.
Okay. So
Oh yeah, quick explanation to listeners. Garrick is a cleric. His deity has the earth domain, so trap sense is one of his 5th level, one of his 5 domain abilities that you can use once per day. So you will use that. So you lay your hands on the stone using your domain of earth and your faith. You sense for traps, and you find immediately a fake panel on the left side, hiding inside some form of switch. And it's not a trap; it's just a hidden panel.
it's not a trap. I found something, guys. Left. My eyes are rolled back, and like I'm humming. Left switch, hidden switch panel.
Cool skill.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's the trap.
Okay.
I look for that panel and I find it and I see the switch. Should I flip the switch, guys? Yeah?
Flip that switch.
I flip that switch.
You flip the switch and you hear weird cog turning in some mechanism, and the altar starts sliding into the room until it reveals underneath a hole.
Oh, it's a hole.
Who
That is
said
a hole.
you couldn't achieve
It's a
the
whole lot of
same?
holes.
It's very dark down below.
Good thing 3 of us can see in the dark.
Garrick, with your dark vision, you look down and surmise that below is a large square chamber, the same sort of size as the one above it, just like a huge 50 by 50 foot square room. There's no living things or heat imprints you can detect with your dark vision. However, you can make out that there is, in the center, you're like down one end, you're like at the north end of this room, looking down into the north end of the chamber. You can make out that the single feature of the chamber below you, which is a good 60 foot down below you, is some sort of large square pit in the center of this big open room below you. And there's no obvious means of descending down this hole, by the way. There's no ladders or ropes or anything. It's just a hole looking 60 foot down into this high ceilinged chamber below.
I have both a 60-foot rope and a 200-foot rope. I lower my 60-foot rope down.
You do that. It dangles all the way down and just about reaches the floor below. You are holding it at the other end.
Shall we descend? Who's going to go down this rope?
We need to tie the rope to something, though.
Well, I can
Before
hold
we
it.
all... Oh my goodness.
I'm pretty strong. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you noticed.
I'm sliding down that rope. I have Manto jump on my back and I slide down that rope.
Okay, you're under no time pressure or anything like that.
I
So
trust her.
the only way anything could go wrong is if you rolled a natural one on a d20. So
Okay.
let's have a d20 roll, because you did say you slid down the rope in a fairly sort of heroic session, right? So
I do it extra heroic.
with Manto on your back.
Yes. 16.
A Manto climbs on your back, holding on. You jump into the dark pit. You start falling down. You immediately grab the silk rope, right?
It is a silk rope.
And you start sort of sliding and rappelling, and all in one motion, letting go at the last minute, dropping the final 1 foot and landing on 2 feet down in the chamber.
Where did you get this fabulous silk rope?
I think it was after we killed a dragon, maybe. I don't know where we picked up a lot of things. We picked up a lot of things.
It's a high ceiling 50 by 50 stone underground chamber with a large square pit hole in the middle of it with a small 1 foot wall built around it, and one exit in the east wall, a kind of dark archway.
And I don't notice anything down there. It's totally empty.
Yeah, you don't hear or see anything at this point. Now let's go to Garrick.
I will do a prayer, and then I will do the same thing. I climb down the rope.
Oh, okay. In that case, if you're just climbing in a careful manner, you do that. There's no chance of failure.
Okay.
He sort
I'm
of
careful.
did a slide.
No, I don't need
You
to
climb
do that.
carefully down the rope and join him at the end, your dark vision not revealing anything in the immediate room. Just the one entrance in the east, a dark arch in this underground chamber, and the pit mouth in the center of the floor. Hjani.
Hey, Seyda, what are you planning on doing? Just holding this rope the entire time?
I should probably tie it to something.
Yeah, there's this altar. Let's tie it to the altar.
I tie it to the altar.
Yeah.
You do that successfully.
And then let's both make our way down there, too. We do that.
You arrive. You are now all standing in this underground cold catacomb chamber with walls hewn out of rammed earth and reinforced with old bricks in some parts. It's a very, very large chamber. Dark. Everyone can see reasonably except for Seyda, who's basically in the pitch black right now.
Guys, can we light a lantern? I have a bullseye lantern. Can I light my bullseye lantern?
Sure.
Okay, and I do my magic that allows an object to glow.
Well, I have a lantern.
Well,
I
you
make
can
the
just...
lantern glow.
It's redundant. It's a lantern of redundancy.
Okay, he does
Good.
that. You take out your lantern, your unlit lantern. Garrick casts light on it,
Yeah.
and now it is glowing as if it was a lit lantern with exactly the same range of light. But it's magic. It can't blow out.
This seemed pointless.
Oh, yeah? I blow on the lantern as hard as I can.
It doesn't flicker anything.
See?
And we go, yeah, see, yeah.
Now you can see. Hey, so
I
there's...
hate elves and I hate dwarves.
Let me tell you what it illuminates.
Hey.
You are able to see a little bit down this eastern passageway. Now you see that rather than the top of the archway being made of interlocked sort of bricks, it's actually made of it's decorated with bones and skulls, like a real catacomb. It's actually when you look down, the light reveals the entrance of this passage, which is actually it's only 5 foot high. A couple of you will have to bend down to enter it. And all the walls are decorated with bones going down. And the pit itself is another large square pit in the middle of the floor. And there's a smell of rancid, rotting stuff sort of drifting up from it. And Seyda, what's your listen skill?
My listen skill is +5.
Make a DC 12 listen check.
I got an 11 +5 is 16.
You do hear some kind of distant noise down there of some kind of motion, like now and again something got like moved or rubbed up against some
Is it
sort of
wall
weird
worms?
motion. You don't know,
It's probably
but
wall
there are no
worms.
footsteps involved.
Guys, there's wall worms again.
It could be ghouls.
I remember those guys.
Those two men seem so innocent, and this is like a
Really creepy place.
murder
We
basement.
probably shouldn't have let them go.
I should have sat on that guy harder. It's my one regret today.
Okay, now if you don't specify otherwise, when you go down a pit or into a corridor, I have the marching order. And now you're in a kind of dungeon environment. In non-combat, a turn or action you take is about 10 minutes in the game world, which includes searching about and debating. And when it's an action situation, a turn is like a round is 10 seconds, right? So from now on, we're going to, while you're down here, go in actions, an action from each of you, which will take up to 10 minutes. So now I'm going to go round and we're going to go action by action as we progress from this place. Seyda.
I peer down the pit.
I walk towards the entrance on the far end.
Yep. Garrick.
I look at you peer into the arch. I look at the arch itself and the bones.
Yeah,
Billicus.
I want to head into the passage, and I'm trying to see if I can spot anything along the way.
Okay, we'll start with Seyda. You peer down. Another similar 50 to 60 feet down. This is just basically an opening in another high-ceilinged chamber. So basically it's just like a huge hole in the ground with a few levels put into it. You look down, it's very dark down there, but you can hear that moving around down there again, and the smells, coming up. But it's basically the limit of your light. It becomes dark again before you see the bottom. Hjani, you go first over and you peer down with your low light vision. Together with the light coming off the lantern, you can see quite far down. It's quite a long, low-ceilinged corridor decorated with bones. Before it ends at an arch quite far down there are two pairs of arches in the side opposite each other. So
many
it's like
arches.
five in total, yeah. Two on the left, two on the right in pairs, and then one at the end of the corridor, all decorated with bones, like entering a catacomb. You examine the bones. As an experienced cleric, these are all real, from various humans or humanoid creatures such as elves, dwarves, and halflings and humans. This is like a genuine catacomb.
And they're dead.
Absolutely. There's no sense of the undead here at the moment. This is familiar to you as a style of catacomb that exists in this game world in this city. This is like legit. These are long dead bones. If they're all decorating, in the walls generally, then to your knowledge, they were poor people with no name to be claimed.
So it doesn't seem demonic or disrespectful. It's like a very
This could be legit
okay.
at this point.
Could be all right.
It checks out as a catacomb, as an actual catacomb.
We're totally in a catacomb, guys.
And Billicus actually
In
walks
case there
a
was
bit
any
down,
doubt.
looking around. And what's your spot check?
My spot is 9.
Your spot is 9.
Yes.
Okay, you start walking down. Roll your spot check and get 15 or above to spot something.
I have 11 plus 9 is 20.
Okay, you walk down and you spot that people have been walking around here recently, making footprints in the dust, moving pieces, and you see a lot of activity to the first arch on the left. You walk a bit down, you peer around into a side chamber, a kind of rectangular room, which is kind of... Oh, it's not familiar to you. You weren't here in that original catacomb thing. It's got the bones, but it's got lots of recesses in the walls with like coffins and bone arrangements in them. But following the things you spotted, looking into this room, you see a haggard-looking guy in a dirty, stained, ragged white robe and a long hair and a beard, gagged and bound, sort of shivering in one corner.
All right.
Cool.
I would like to cast, or I cast Detect Animals.
What?
Because, come on, you're talking wall worms. I ain't taking any chances. Those
You have
things
an
are
animal
gross.
with you.
Let me resolve
These
the
were
action.
gross.
You cast Detect Animals. Nothing comes to light here, but you are overwhelmed with just an overwhelming sense just coming up from your gut, in your mind, and your magic senses are tingling everywhere, back in the original room down the pit, of a single animal presence, which is very, very strong down that pit. For sure, it works. You are overwhelmed. Seyda and Hjani, you watch him. He's sort of standing a bit further down from you, looking in, and you see him sort of casting a spell and sort of like looking around, like doing his thing. Oh no, sorry, Garrick and Hjani.
Yes.
You see that. Seyda, what did you want to do having looked into the pit?
Well, now I know that it leads somewhere else, but it does sound like there's wall worms down there, so I follow the others.
Okay, so you're now all standing at these two opposing low-ceilinged archways, each one leading to a rectangular chamber full of bones with recesses in the rammed earthen walls full of coffins and skull arrangements. And in one of them, you found this bound and gagged, shivering, barely alive dude with a beard and a very stained, ripped up white robe, and he's sort of staring wildly at you.
Should we help that guy?
Yeah, let's help that guy. I unbind him.
Hold on.
Your light seems to really, when you just stand at the edge of the room with the light, it really is just closing his eyes and shaking his head.
So I ungag him at least.
You walk into the room and ungag him, and he just takes big breaths, but he sort of looks scared and just stares at you.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Hjani.
No reply. Let's have Seyda's action, because we're still doing things in action. Seyda.
I notice that he's disturbed by my light, so I kind of back a little bit around the corner so it's not so bright for him. And I think it would be good if he was not afraid anymore.
Okay, so you guys will be fine because you've got your dark vision and low light vision. You take the light off him back into the corridor a bit more. He seems to relax a bit. Garrick.
Okay, Garrick walks in there. Very calming presence.
Talking about himself in the third person as he does.
I do that to pump myself up, and I go and I squat down beside him. I'm like, hey man, and I pet his head, and I whisper in his ear, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. And I cast what is it?
Remove fear.
Remove fear, yeah.
You cast remove fear. He immediately He immediately relaxes, takes more shallow controlled breaths, and then starts looking at you with a question on his face, like, oh.
I keep petting his head.
Does he speak?
Hello. Where am I? What do you... Oh.
No, it's okay. Shh. No, shh.
I was very afraid, but now I feel very normal.
Yes.
Wait, are we in the catacombs?
Yes.
Oh dear.
Are you Cedric?
Oh, yes, my name is Cedric. How did you
wonderful.
Oh, good.
Teach me how to make dead things alive.
Can we maybe get out of the catacombs first?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wait, how do you know that?
Hippies in some park. Listen, it's not important, but we need to get you out of here quickly.
He seems like really traumatized. He's struggling to like recall things.
Guys, I don't want to alarm you, but I sense a great disturbance in the force down the hallway.
Really? Like what kind of disturbance?
It's as though a million voices cried out, wait, just some bad shit, man.
Okay. Well,
just be careful.
Okay, Seyda, you're out in the corridor, right? What's your listen check?
My listen check is still 5.
15 or more.
I rolled a 5, I got a 10.
You don't hear anything.
Sometimes I just start humming to myself.
Your animal sense that you've cast is really highly attuned now. You feel it like it's still very, very strong. I'm going to give you all one more action before I introduce something. Let's go to Garrick.
I continue to pet this man.
Okay, great. You do so. He seems very... It helps.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Hjani.
So I'm unaware of anything else going on, so I'm like, hey, so we heard you were kidnapped. What's up with that?
Oh, that's right. That's how it all began. And then he stares off into the middle distance again, thoughtfully. Seyda.
I shine my light up and down the corridor. Not down the alcoves, up and down the corridor where we came from.
Right, and Billicus?
I just kind of feel like some shit's about to go down, and I cast Bark Skin on myself just kind of out of reflex,
awesome,
kind of the tensing of the butthole.
Yeah, you tense your butthole, you concentrate, your skin becomes hard and bark-like, giving you an extra AC of how much?
2 or
2.
Higher. I don't understand that.
Well, let's say 2 for now. That's
okay.
Pretty good. What's your AC usually? Your armor class? 16, right?
Is it 16 or is it 18?
Let me see.
Read
Can't read his
this
own
person's
writing.
It's not
your handwriting. It's my
I can't
handwriting.
read this person's handwriting.
Well, it's 16 because there's a 2, a 2, and a 2 after the 10. It's 16.
So it is
now
18.
It's 18. Now your AC becomes 18 magically. Seyda shines her light down towards the end where you haven't been, and you notice movement at the alcove at the end, and you see 2 robed figures emerge. They are humanoid, standing upright, wearing very similar clothes and robes to a certain person you met in a certain gambling den, holding scimitars. But in this case, they don't just have reptilian eyes or tongues or features at close thing. They have like, their head is like fully like a snake's.
Lizard people.
Fully like a snake's face on a human body, essentially. And they sort of emerge and start stalking down. Meanwhile, when you then turn around, shine the light back up the other way, you can hear movement and like bones coming around and some sort of action happening in the original room coming up from the pit. So we now go to Seyda first.
I draw my greatsword and shout, "Snake faces!"
Snake faces.
Hjani, you hear that?
I peek my head out to see what's going on.
You see she's talking about two robed creatures holding scimitars stalking down the corridor towards you with faces that resemble snakes.
Those are snake faces.
Garrick.
All right, so I look out the corridor as well. These people are coming. These two snakes are coming.
It's a 5-foot high narrow bone archway, so basically you're all like doing that comedy thing where all your heads appear in a stack one by one. So you do that at the bottom position, obviously.
Obviously.
And
he's small.
you also see these two robed snake people with scimitars stalking down the corridor towards you.
Is it a stone corridor?
It's made of rammed earth, some stone and bones, yeah.
Okay.
So next action you could potentially do something with stone, I confirm that.
Yes.
And Billicus, you're really been overwhelmed. Some sort of huge animal's about to come up from the pit in the original room.
I'm overwhelmed, or can I take an action?
I mean, you're overwhelmed with that feeling, but you're inside the first catacomb, and you can take an action.
All right, I'm going to cast, I cast Bull Strength on Seyda.
Okay.
Which confers...
+4 strength for 1 minute per level, so 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So +4, right? What does that make your strength points?
20.
That means your bonus from your strength goes up to +5.
Okay.
And how much is that more than usual?
Two more than
Two
usual.
more than usual.
So any attack you have will
+2.
have +2 to hit, +2 to damage on top of the usual
Okay.
amount.
Excellent.
And while the DM just finds his necessary statistics, what do you all say before things kick off?
Strength for the bull.
Finally, some action.
The doctor is in.
Here we go again.
Something you don't know what is coming up out of the pit back in the original room, and the two snake people are coming up. I'm going to roll initiative for them. They have an initiative bonus of +5. Explaining extra for listeners who might just be coming in. We all roll a 20-sided dice. With the bonus, whoever gets the highest number gets initiative, which means they go first. So rolling for the snake people, whose names you still haven't, you haven't researched this enough to know who or what they are yet, but here they come. I rolled a 2, +5 is 7 for those two. So now let's roll one roll for all the party.
And I rolled a 3 + 7 is 10. Yes, but it's still more than them.
You have the initiative. So, starting with Seyda, I believe, is geographically closest to the advancing two robed snake people with
She's the
scimitars.
tallest head sticking around the corner.
I was already outside in the corridor.
Oh, shit.
So it's just you three who are
Now,
doing it.
while I very, very quickly cast my eyes down my stats for these foes again, what do you very quickly say to each other as the fight is about to ensue?
I say I was already out in the corridor. It's just you three doing your Curly Mo and the other one impression.
Curly Mo and the other one.
Larry's the best one. I'm a big Larry fan.
Are you the Larry of the group?
Maybe the Larry of the group? Fine, I'll take it. Sign me up.
Seyda, what's your action?
I charge the snake face on the right.
They have to get in single file by the time they've entered.
Oh,
now,
okay.
so
Well,
yeah.
I charge the forward snake face.
You do that. Its AC is 20,
Okay.
including its natural magical ability, its dexterity, its studded leather armor you can now see under the robes. Oh, it's 18 because it's not using its heavy shield. Its AC is 18. Go.
I have +11 +2 to my greatsword, and I roll a 16 +11 is 27 +2 is 29.
You hit with your greatsword, stabbing forward in this low-ceilinged corridor that you have to kind of crouch in, actually. You stab.
Are you like wide stancing?
Yeah, I'm kind of squatting down.
What will the damage potentially be?
2d6 +4 +2 because of my strength of the ball.
Yeah, we can call that 2d4 plus 6
Okay.
from now on, but you were correct to break it down.
2d6 +4, not 2d4 +6. Wait, what? I'm confused.
What is the damage usually?
2d6 +4.
And you get an extra +2
+2.
from your bull strength
From my bull
conferred by Billicus' thing. So 2d6 plus 6.
Yeah. That is a 4 and a 2 is 6, plus 6 is 12.
Okay, you stab it, slashing its side for 12 points of damage.
Can I take my other hit?
Yeah, you get 2. It's supposed to be an offhand weapon, but you do get. I'll allow you the second hit with the greatsword, a 2-handed weapon, which is at a reduced bonus of
+6, but now it's +8.
Okay.
So I roll a
AC 18.
17 +8 is more.
25.
Thank you.
You hit again, stabbing forward again in this narrow, bone-laden corridor with your greatsword.
2d6 +6. 5 and 3 is 8 +6 is 9, 15, 14? 14.
And a further 14 points of damage. Okay, you have wounded it badly, but it is not dead. And now you are kind of almost blocking this narrow, low-ceilinged corridor. Hjani could kind of squeeze down the side, maybe. What ideas does she have? Hjani.
Wow. Okay. What ideas do I have?
What's your action, I mean?
I squeeze down the side and try to just jab it with my longsword of frost in its side after like reaching in front of Seyda.
Okay, you do that. You get in next to her and also try to jab forward. Its AC is 18.
So I have a +10 attack bonus. 17 + 10 is 27.
You stab it.
And so it's a 1d8 + 4. So... Oh, and then plus 1d6 cold damage. So first is 4 + 4 is 8.
Yep.
And then the cold damage is a1. So 9 points of damage.
Okay, you also stab it, causing green ooze, green and black blood to come out of a horrific wound on its side. It's not quite dead, but...
Do I get my second attack, or is it too awkward?
I feel like now you're squeezed down the side, so that'll have to do. But the two of you are filling up this corridor, which is not that wide. Mm-hmm. So now we come to Garrick. Don't forget, there were noises coming back from the original room up the pit too. Garrick.
Yes, and I look behind myself towards the pit, and I see the advancing thing.
You take a position in the corridor, you look back into that room with your dark vision, and you see a huge, that's the exact term, a huge viper comes slithering up and over the side of the pit. And the head of this snake is the size of this table. So its head is like 2 feet long. 3 feet, 3 feet long head. It's like the giant snake that Schwarzenegger fights in Conan the Barbarian. So it's like when it snakes up, it's like, a couple of feet up above you in the high ceiling chamber, and its head is as big as like your torso.
Or the snake on the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland.
Sure. Yeah.
If anyone knows that. But
so I think Conan the Barbarian's a closer reference in genre, but yeah. Anyway, it comes out of the pit and starts to fill the room. That's what you see happening back in the original room.
I don't like that.
Which brings us to Billicus' action.
All right.
You're still inside the room next to Cedric.
Does it look like
you have to take an action or lose it?
Well, but I can see. Seeing is a free action.
Okay.
Does it look like Manto can squeeze between these two ladies to...
That is outside the room down the corridor.
I cast Call Lightning on the snake head that I can see. Can I see the snake? Am I with him?
No, you are in the catacomb next to Cedric.
Shit. Alright. So I can't see any of this going on.
No, but it would only take half of your actions to step outside the room.
I step outside the room.
Okay, so you see down the corridor, you see their backs close together, stabbing, but nothing beyond them. Then you see Garrick next to you. You're both looking back down the other way. You see this huge viper coming out of the pit.
Now that I can see, does it seem like Manto can squeeze into this action by these two?
No.
Okay.
But the way to the giant viper, the huge viper, is totally unblocked.
I'm not going to send him down there. I don't want him to get hurt yet. I cast Summon or Call Lightning on the...
Okay.
The snake
now, since our last game, I have looked this up. It is 1 lightning bolt per level, but it's each turn. Last time we let you have them all at the same time.
Okay, so
in
it's
the same round, which was overkill, but it was a cool thing.
It was amazing.
Okay, so you cast the spell.
I did not know that.
You start casting the spell, and in that room where you see the viper, this is what you guys can see, Garrick and Billicus. The room starts to come alive with flashes of light, like there's a storm happening in its high ceiling indoors. The snake sort of panics and starts, snaking around the pit, and you concentrate, and a huge bolt of lightning just goes like smashing down onto it.
For 3d6.
Is it plus 1d6 per level?
3d6 per bolt.
Per bolt, okay, but you get multiple bolts, right? So 3d6, and if it can make a reflex save, it gets half damage. Let me first find its reflex save. +7. What's the spell save on your sheet?
This is the
Right
snake
out
people.
We have to probably wait for that to go away before we
Quick,
resolve this.
DM.
Yes.
Why didn't I get a move? I went on the hallway, and that's it.
Oh, because you weren't like harassing me. You were normal. Billy was like pushing me and getting annoyed when I didn't give him the move, and I just couldn't be bothered to reiterate that I wanted to break it up into moves, so I just went with it.
Where can I see the spell save?
Don't worry, he won't get away with it a second time. It's where your spells are listed on the second sheet at the bottom. There's a column for spell save value just across from the spells. So you want
It's
level 3. It's empty.
Yeah.
Well, it's 10 plus the level of the spell plus your relevant bonus, which is your wisdom for a druid, right? So the snake gets a reflex save against your spell for half damage before we roll the damage. Its reflex save is +7. And Billy, what does it have to beat?
It has to beat a 13 +3 because it's a 3rd level spell, so 16.
16. Okay. Seyda, can you roll a d20 for me out in the
I
open
can.
so we can see it? So he has +7 on reflex save.
+7. Come on. He rolled a 10 + 7.
17. So it's successful, right?
Yeah.
So 3d6, and then he takes half
So
damage
half
for
of that,
saving.
okay.
Yeah.
So 6 + 4 + 2 is 12, so he takes 6.
6 points of damage. Okay, you blast him with magical lightning, and providing no one hits you or breaks your concentration, you get 4 more, 1 per round, right? So Billicus is in a concentration state, and the pit room has just lit up with sort of blue and white lightning flashes, as if there's a storm happening in the room. You feel a magical cold wind blowing down the corridor of bones, blowing your hair stylishly as Billicus rains magical lightning down on this huge viper. And to even things up, I'm going to let Garrick finish his thought or his action.
Well,
Seeing that, you can get one more action.
before he did this, what I was going to do is earthbend to close this corridor. I prepare it.
Okay.
And wait for the opportunity.
So if things go south, you can use earth meld, right, to close it up.
We're going to take care of these guys.
Yeah, there's only
Okay.
2 right now.
It brings it round to their actions. One is severely wounded, one isn't. Now, the one behind looks through the gap next to his friend, looks into Seyda's eyes, and casts Cause Fear. And it's a willpower save against DC 14. So you have to get 14 or above. What's your willpower save?
And my willpower is 3.
Okay, you get +3. If you fail to get 14 or over, he magically causes fear, and you cannot fight him and have to be afraid and run away for 1d4 rounds.
I hate snakes. I rolled a 16 + 4 is 20.
Okay, he gazes into your eyes. He tries to put the fear of snake power into your mind, and you just go, ha-ha, and are not affected by it because of your strong willpower.
I glare at him.
And the one who's involved in combat with you will try to hit you. What's your
AC is 20.
AC is 20, and he has scimitar +10. 17 + 10 is 27.
I don't like snakes.
He stabs his the pointy end of his scimitar into you for, again, tipping my stat sheet away from the glare of the light, 1d8 + 2 damage. 8 + 2 is 10 points of damage
Dang.
as he stabs you with his scimitar. Bringing us round to the viper, which is fleeing lightning and trying to crawl down the corridor towards Billicus. However, if Garrick wants to, am I saying your name right? Now I've put my notes out of the way. Garrick, yep. Now, if Garrick wants to, you can get between Billicus and it, so Billicus will be able to keep his concentration and rain lightning onto its body.
Throw myself in the path of this viper
Yeah, like engage it.
heroically.
If you'd like to. Would you like to do that? Or shall I allow it to try to escape the room? Because technically, Billicus may get an attack of opportunity and rain one more lightning bolt on it as it flees.
No, I'm not going to throw myself in front of
Okay.
Billicus.
In that case, as it enters the corridor, away from the now stormy magical lightning chamber, Billicus can rain one more on it as it tries. So I'll try its saving throw. Again, it has +7. It needs to beat 16.
16.
It rolls a 3. It takes, as it enters the corridor to escape the lightning, Billicus gets one more bolt onto it for
4.
Nice.
6 + 5 + 1, so 12.
12 points of damage, searing it significantly. But it has now escaped the lightning chamber and is right on top of you guys, so you'll have to go hand to hand after this. That brings us back to Seyda's action.
And I just like to point out snakes don't have hands, but
These
okay.
do. These are humanoids
No,
with
the
snakes'
snake
heads.
they're fighting that they're going to go hand to hand with.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. They're going to go hand to head.
But the guy who
Correct.
just stabbed me, I'm going to stab him back.
Yeah, his AC, as we've mentioned, is 18.
Okay, 11, 13 is 13 to my greatsword, plus I rolled an 11, so that's 24.
24. You stab him once more with your double-handed greatsword.
2d6 plus 6. 5 and 4 is 9, plus 6 is 15.
You impale him on your greatsword. You stick your foot in his body,
Hey.
drag it out, and he falls lifeless to the ground, exposing the second one behind. Hjani.
Haha. So I can do 2 attacks again. This guy, right?
You may.
So I longsword of frost him. The first attack is plus 10.
AC 18.
So that's a 6 plus 10. Dang.
Okay, you stab forward, but your sword catches on the narrow walls, dislodging a skull.
No! How disrespectful to the dead. Oh well. Okay. I second attack. It's a plus 5. And I rolled a 19, which is a critical.
Oh, awesome. So in that case, you'd have to hit a second time to achieve double damage, right?
Alright, let's try that. So it's again a plus 5. It's a 9 plus 5, so I guess
No,
not.
so you hit but no critical damage. What's the usual damage?
So it's 1d8 plus 4 plus 1d6 cold damage.
Yep,
So
your magical longsword of frost.
So 7 plus 4 is 13, plus... Wait, am I right? No, sorry. 7 plus 4 is 11, and then plus the 1d6
And then magical frost power.
of 1.
So
So
12. Okay, you slash him with your sword, leaving a frostbite burn on his scaly skin. Bringing us round to Billicus.
I go gorilla. I'm gonna go into gorilla form.
Okay, you cast wild shape, or use wild shape,
yeah, I
and you
use wild
become a
shape.
gorilla. Gorillicus appears.
Here's Gorilla Kiss, and
Very startled.
I
I didn't know he could do this.
Yeah, he turns into a gorilla right next to you.
Maybe I didn't even see it, and I just look over, and there's a gorilla.
suddenly gorilla.
That's your action, right?
I would, I would also send Manta down there, but I'm scared. I don't want him to get hurt. Like I'm so protective of
Okay,
him.
so he's gonna stay as your protector, essentially. by
Yeah,
your side.
I don't want him to get swallowed.
Okay, you become Gorillicus. Garrick.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's this?
It's Gorilla.
Oh, it sounds like a gorilla.
You say that so casually.
It's Gorilla.
It happens. Just go with it.
Oh, okay, well, so snake,
Yeah.
snake.
It's almost on top of you.
You slippery serpent.